Hi everybody, this is Gene Felice here, your instructor for Art 371, an introduction to video projection and just video-based art and design. Thanks for joining this class, especially in challenging times right now with online courses, but this class will be for the future as well when we're not all fully online, so hopefully these videos can help out now and like I said, in the future. I want to give you a quick little overview on your projector. I handed out some projectors this week. I'll be handing out more next week. They're video Pico projectors. I have a very similar one here. These are all from a company called Aaxa. Mine's a little bit of a more robust version of what I gave you guys. Excuse me while I go ahead and pull this out of the case. This is a really nice little unit here. This is called the M6. And the M6 is just the one size up from the M5, which is the version I gave to all of you. As you can see, this has 3 fans. I think yours has 2. This is a little bit brighter. I think like another 500 or 600 lumens, something like that of brightness. And this is full HD, where I believe yours is 720p, 1280 by 720 resolution. So just a little higher res, a little brighter. But otherwise the same. On the side here are all the controls. There's a little on-off switch up there. You can put an SD card in there. Over here we have a USB slot, and this is a little focus adjuster to make sure your image is, if it looks blurry at first, just adjust this little dial and you'll get it in focus. And then up on top we have kind of our controls for deciding inputs, how to access files on those SD cards. Because as I said to everybody that I've given one of these to so far, the coolest thing about this Pico projector and this style of projector, one is it runs on a battery, or it can be plugged in. I'll probably plug it in to get full brightness capabilities in here, but obviously we have a plug combination. We can plug this in. But this will run for about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how bright of an image you're putting out there, which is really cool. And it doesn't have to be connected to a computer, so I can literally load an MP4 or an AVI video file onto a flash drive or onto the little SD card and walk around with this and do really neat stuff with it. And these little LED based video projectors are really tough. You can turn it on and off. Normal projectors, you have to wait for it to cool down, or you can blow out a bulb, but not with this guy. These projectors work really well, and hopefully they'll be really fun for you to use on these first couple of projects. This first project, which is sort of like a micro indoor video project, and then the second project, which is an outdoor project. And after that, hopefully we can get on campus and do something at a larger scale. But like I said, getting started, if I flip this on, yay, I still have power. You'll see my power is coming on right now. Yeah, you can see there's a bright light starting to come on. If I aim this in the opposite direction on the wall, try to give you the full view. Yep, there it goes, it's coming online. There we go. I'm going to adjust that dial that I was telling you about over here on the side. I'm going to adjust it to bring focus so that we can actually, there you go, see how I just focused in the words on the wall over there? Works out pretty well, right? And then, like I said, I can hit these buttons on top and I can pull up a full, I'll try to aim this down so you can see it. I can decide if I want to control brightness or sound or options, or if I want to go back to the main menu. If I just hit the little arrow button that looks like a loaded arrow, it takes you to this main menu. And then I can decide if I want to load a movie file or a music file, or if I want to play around with the settings. I can also decide sources, like if I want this to come from an HDMI signal, then the digital input, versus a VGA versus the old school RCA that might connect to like a VCR or an old DVD player for you. For right now, I'll keep it on digital input, and that's probably the one we're going to use the most. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. I have an HDMI cable, and the kits that I gave out all came with an HDMI cable. You can always tell an HDMI cable by this type. It's the same kind of cable you'd use on your television set, connect from like a gaming platform or to a like a DVD player that does HD content. So on the back, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And then I'm also going to go ahead, you guys, all your kits came with a small tripod. This one does not have that. There's my doggy, that's Raven, in case you're wondering what her name is. She likes to sit in all my classes. So I'm going to go ahead, there's actually a tripod mount on the bottom of all these that fits a standard tripod. So just so I don't have to hold it the whole time, I'm going to go ahead and get it mounted here. Sometimes easier said than done. There we go. Okay. Once it's on a tripod, it's awesome because now I can just adjust my tripod and kind of hold the position where I want it, right? So just so you guys can kind of see everything, I'm going to aim this down. There we go. It's bouncing off my mirror back there a little bit, but you should be able to see the signal. Then I can take the other end of my HDMI cable, try not to get it too tangled up anywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my laptop. Right? So I've got a MacBook Pro. On this side of the MacBook Pro, I've got a built-in HDMI input. If you have an older Mac that doesn't have that, or a newer Mac that doesn't have that, you might need one of these. These are dongles or adapters. This one, as you can see, has HDMI on that end, but then has mini display on the other. This would work with any older Macs. And then this is the HDMI, one of the newer ones that goes to like the new USB standard, which would work with like a newer Mac. So you might have to get yourself an adapter. I do have some extra adapters, not a ton, but you might want to get your own for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and just plug in directly HDMI, and you're going to see it flash. You can see my screen flash for a second, and then you're going to see my screen out there is actually black right now. If I, it's because of what my settings were last time I had it on, but yours might look something more like this, where it just mirrors the screen that's on your desktop right now. That's usually the standard, is like, as you see, I move something around on my screen, it's going to move around over there. That's fine, because I happen to have a video file that's loaded up and ready to go, and it's just a really lo-fi way to kind of connect to your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and double click, and you're going to get a lesson next on how to create content on a black background, and I'm going to show you why. So if I just have a video clip here, and this is a little animation that I made that's on a black background, and I go up to view, I open it up in QuickTime Player, but I could open it up in like VNC for a PC or Windows Media Player, and then just go up and put it into full screen. Like I could hit the shortcut view button there, or I can go to view, enter full screen. And now if I play it, what's cool is you no longer see the frames of the video. All you see is this cool animation, right? All you can see is this ability for me to move around my animation without any borders around it. I could put it anywhere in my living room and pretty much have like, you know, my couch installation over there or my doggy installation down there. You know, it's really fun. It's the minute you get rid of the edges of a video frame, that standard 4:3 or 16:9, HD is a 16:9 aspect ratio. It's kind of like 16 parts on the horizontal to 9 parts on the vertical. A 4:3 is the old school TV way, 4 parts horizontal to 3 parts vertical. But whatever, that's what we're used to seeing in movie theaters. It's what we're used to seeing on TV. It's what we're used to seeing on our computers. The minute you get rid of that, all of a sudden it turns into magic, right? And so I can position this around anywhere in my house and do something way more unique than just playing a video in a frame, which everybody's going to recognize. We'll go into this more because, like I said, I have a lesson on how to start preparing imagery like this in After Effects, and there's a lot you can do out there. So anyway, really easy to connect. The other option that I have, if I don't want to do the mirroring on my computer, is you can do what's called like a second display. So on my computer, if I go to my system preferences on a PC, this is going to be going to sort of your control panel and then displays. So I go to system preferences and then I go to displays. And again, I'll do a more high-res screen capture version of this. Under display, you'll see there's a little tab called arrangement. And then arrangement actually allows me to turn off mirroring. And the minute I do that, now I have an extended display. I actually have, you can decide even like which side your display is on. So I just kind of lost my, there it is, there's my control. But I have a window here and I can decide is my display to the right of my screen or to the left of my screen. And what that kind of controls is like where I send my mouse. So if in this particular case, I'm going to send it to the right side. So I moved it over to the right. It flashes for a second. Oh, it didn't like that. Let me try that again. Oh, well, I guess it just wants to be on the left. Cool thing is you can always identify your screen on a Mac at least by clicking on the screen. You'll see my home screen has this little red band that appears. Same thing, the projected one gets that little red band when I click on it. Kind of a cool thing for Apple computers. But anyway, if I go off to the left over there, I actually have a display window that's open right now. If I can grab it, there we go. You'll see I'm moving around the display preferences over there. I've actually set that one to have a background color of black. It's something I'll teach you as you go down the road. It's in case your projection mapping software crashes, so you don't go to like some screen's background, some random image. or big color and everybody knows you crashed. If you set your color to black, it kind of just looks like it's part of the show. No one knew the better. We'll talk about that again down the road. But anyway, now that I'm done with all that, I can come back to my screen preferences. I can quit, and I can actually move my movie file. I can open it up, and I can actually move this movie file from this screen over to this screen, which is really cool. You can see it in the background, right? And then when I go back up to the top here and go to enter full screen and hit play, it's only playing over there, and then over here I can continue to do work, and I can kind of see how things are going. So I'm playing from my second screen instead of being a mirrored screen. It's that second screen right now. And this is going to be really important when we move into actually using software like projection mapping software. Right now, we're just going to stick with you getting to know the video projector, connecting it to your computer, moving things onto the flash drive, videos onto a flash drive or an SD card, and kind of going from there, right? All right, so let's do that second part that I just talked about. So I'm going to go ahead and quit this real quick. And let me go ahead and quit and escape this guy. There we go, and quit. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my HDMI cable. My laptop is back to normal now, right? Now, if I want to load something, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this from the back of the projector as well, because we don't need the HDMI anymore. All right, so if I want to load something on a flash drive, I have a little flash SD card in the side of here. I actually have to use a little paper clip on. I think yours is a little bit better, and mine really gets in there. But it's a micro SD, so it's really, really tiny. It's like the ones we put in our phones. Different adapters out there to get this into your computer. I have this little one that looks like a flash drive that allows me to fit like a standard SD and a micro SD into it. I use this a lot. Some people, if you happen to already have like an SD card reader in your computer, you can just use a little SD card adapter that actually has a little slot in the top, and then that will fit, and then you can push it down, right? And then we can plug this in. So my computer has this on the side of it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put this into the slot reader on the side of my computer, or like I said, you could use the USB one. Those are really cheap. You can get them for like 10 or 15 bucks. Okay. So now this will show up on my computer here in a second, as long as it can read it. Yep, there it is, untitled. Whoa. Sorry, I opened up another app by accident. And I actually have a bunch of files already on there. Actually, one of the ones that I just showed you, the like light pattern one, is already on my Pico. So I have a bunch of just little like animated kind of particle systems that I created in 3D. And these all have black backgrounds again, which is really cool, right? So what's awesome is because I can just copy them onto the SD card, it will actually read these in whatever order I have. So I have them labeled like number 1, number 2, number 3, and that's to kind of control the order of what they're doing, right? So I'm going to close that. I'm going to eject my SD card. And then I'm going to go ahead and load it into my Pico projector again. Put it into the little side. Make sure you kind of like push it in until it like snaps into place. Like I said, this one has a little bit of a design flaw on it. So now that I have that, I can go back to the top. If I go back to the controls up here, I can kind of hit this main menu button, which is like, it looks like a little hooked arrow. Let me roll it down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go to the movie one. I'm trying to get it there so you can see it on the open screen. See the one with the little movie camera? So I'm going to use the little arrow controls on here to navigate and move over to movie. And then you can see I can do SD or USB. So I'm going to go to micro SD. And in a moment here, there's all my movie files, right? So there's one right there. I'll pick on the first one. And there we go. Just that easy. I've got a crazy smoke animation going around my room. Like I said, this will be, there goes a second animation that's like falling water that I created. So it just plays them in order, which is really awesome. Like I said, I could take that off the tripod, walk around anywhere I want to go, and have little animations that are happening anywhere in my house. And, you know, wherever I move it, it's going to look like it's sort of like coming out of that place, you know. I can move it over here and make it look like my animations are sort of coming out of the side of my couch. You know, there's an edge, so it just depends on what your animation looks like. That circular one didn't have an edge because it was right in the middle of the screen. These ones kind of flow out of the top. So a lot of times I'll align this with like the top edge of a wall or a ceiling somewhere. or in this case, maybe it's like coming out from underneath the couch. And then I kind of rotate this guy a little bit and see what comes out next. So there's my round one, no edges on that. That one's really easy. I can put that wherever I want and have kind of projection happening anywhere, right? So really versatile little system here with the Pico Projector. Honestly, before I even hook it up to a computer, I would just try copying some movie files onto the SD card or onto a flash drive. Have some fun, walk around with it, try it at different angles, put it on a tripod if you have access, or use the little mini tripod and see what you come up with. And you know, I hope you just have a lot of fun, and yeah, we'll take it from there. This is just your first lesson. We'll have many more. And again, thanks for joining the class. We'll talk again soon. All right, take care.